Hi, I'm Annalisa Idkor. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Joining me now is Maggie Washo and Tom Staebler. Maggie is the editor and publisher of CB2 and CH2 magazine, and Tom is the contributing art director, which to us normal folk is kind of a mystery. What exactly is a contributing art director, Tom?
Well, we have an art director in Kelly Stroud, and I work with her and Maggie on my role. Pretty much are the covers every month and the fashion when we run it, and occasionally when Kelly needs help on something else, and we get together, critique the magazine once a month, and sometimes Kelly will send me layouts via the computer, and I'll critique them a little bit and talk about it, or she's stumped on something and would call me and say, what do you think? What would you change? What would you do? And so that's pretty much it.
Well, I know for all of us here in the Low Country who have always been fans of the magazine, we saw a big change to the look of the publication, what, about 4 years ago? Is that about how long you've been on board, I suspect?
That's correct. Actually, I met with Maggie and Pierce Lowry, the owner, early on, and liked the place from day one. Just had a great creative atmosphere, which Maggie sets, and frankly, I like Maggie from the beginning, and we talked about changing the logo, which where I was before would be an act of Congress to get that done.
Now, where were you before?
I was at Playboy magazine in Chicago.
Oh, so you worked with the big boys.
For 40 years. But I did a number of them, and Maggie picked the one we're now currently using. We changed it from Celebrate Hilton Head to CH2 with the small Celebrate Hilton Head underneath. And she looked at it on our November cover, which I just put on there because I was just used to doing things over and over and over. And she looked at it and said, I love it. Let's do it. And I said, don't you need some approvals? She said, well, she said, I spoke to Pierce about it, and he said, do what you want to do. So that was it. We just ran it. And I just love that atmosphere, of just, if you think it, do it, and let's go.
Well, I have a feeling you were just telling me one of the major differences of working with Playboy and working more locally. Are there other differences from working with a big national publication and working locally?
Yeah, there are differences, mostly a matter of scale. It's, you're dealing with so many more people and frankly, so much more money, but the basics of publishing in a magazine, particularly at CH2, is very much the same. Very much the same, and believe it or not, there are a lot of similarities between Hugh Hefner and Maggie. They both like old movies, and they like watching
beautiful
them.
Women.
I was going to say,
no,
you have to be a little careful here, Tom.
No, they do, and she could enjoy a movie as much the 10th time as she would the first, and he's exactly the same way.
Really?
Exactly.
I need to meet him someday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually distantly related to him.
Are you
seriously?
really?
Seriously,
Wow.
I absolutely am. I was, oh gosh, probably the cousin of a cousin of a cousin.
Right.
I always used to joke if I showed up on his doorstep if he'd let me in the mansion.
Right.
Now, tell me a little bit. I understand this is a very special issue of CH2 and CB2.
We've made it 5 years, so we're really excited about that. In this issue, we have a nice fashion spread that Tom did. We also have just kind of a retrospective, some funny photos that never got printed before. We do kind of a timeline from the beginning to where we are right now. We've got a financial section, a medical section. I mean, it's a big issue for us, and we're perfect bounce. So I wanted to show you this because that's very exciting for me.
That is very exciting. Lovely, lovely. Well, we are very excited to see the edition come out. All right, so what else is different about working with the big publication and the local publication?
Well, as I was saying before, it is a question of scale. And at Playboy, I had more people in the art department than CH2 has on its entire staff. So I had people to do most anything I wanted, so I didn't learn a lot of stuff I should have learned about the computer. Our art director, Kelly Stroud, knows the computer better than I'll ever know it. And so thanks to her, I've learned a lot. But when I first came and had done that first cover where we changed the logo, I kept saying to Kelly, now make sure they do this and make sure they do that, meaning the printer or the engraver or whatever things I was just used to having somebody do. And at one point, finally, Kelly interrupts and goes, hey, we don't have any days. I'm your they. So whatever they are going to do, I'm going to have to do it. And that's when I realized I was going to have to learn a lot more about the computer that I didn't know. And so that's
So you had to be on a bit of a learning curve, too.
I absolutely still am.
Wow.
Still
wow.
am.
Now,
Yeah.
I have to ask, have you worked with famous people? I would imagine you had to have worked with a lot of celebrities.
Quite a few. Quite a few.
Any favorites?
Dolly Parton, believe it or not, was a favorite because
I hear
she
she's
was
very sweet.
She's wonderful. She was just down home. I remember on the shooting, during a break, I went to the refrigerator to get a Diet Coke, and she was standing there, and she said, "Oh, I'll get it." And I said, "Okay." And she reached in, she said, "Would you like it in a glass with ice?" And I said, "No, just out of the can." She goes, "Oh, you're just down home like the rest of us."
Oh.
She was very nice. Some can be difficult because, it's their image on the line, and how they look and how they come off is so important to them that it is a struggle to get it done. And when you're working on it, again, there's a lot of money at stake, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so at the time, you can't really enjoy it because you're just so worried about, is it going to turn out, are we going to get what we want, so on and so forth. When you look back on it, a fascinating time to have met all these people in their homes and to sort of hang out with them really behind the scenes. You get to see what they're really like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, you do have a picture in this month's magazine that makes everybody on your staff look like a celebrity. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? This picture is incredible. I've got to show, hold on, let's see if we can. This picture is amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Now, were they hard to work with?
Yes, actually they were. I'm going to say yes, absolutely they were.
I think not so much.
No, but
no.
We had our 4 key photographers are all in that picture. And, of course, all of them had opinions about the way the picture was going to come out.
It might have been the first time all 4 of them were in a room together, to tell you the truth.
Wow.
And it's a pretty impressive group, that group. And in a way, that's sort of similar at Playboy. When I was there early, we had a writers' conference where we had all the big-name writers in one group for a photo. Very similar to this. And I'm telling you, having seen both, this is one very creative group, very talented group of people.
Well, and I know you must be very proud of this issue being your 5th anniversary issue,
Yes.
a special edition.
We made it 5 years.
Wow, great.
So that's how, we wanted to take a picture and show everybody, the whole team, because everybody sees my face as the editor every month, but I'm just this teeny little part of what happens behind the scenes every month. And so we did that, and then, of course, if you turn the page, we make fun of ourselves with what we're actually thinking in this photograph.
Yes,
so
yes, very good.
Make sure you check that out, because that's
Good.
amusing. We just have some retrospective stuff in there, and a medical section, a financial section. We've got a nice fashion feature that Tom laid out for us. So, yeah, we're excited about this issue.
And congratulations. I'm sure they're delighted to have you on board. We
are.
love, as the Low Country community, I can tell you, we love the look of the magazine, love getting it every month, and congratulations on your 5th year anniversary.
Thanks.
We will be right back, so sit tight. There's more Talk of the Town on the way.